The following is intended for mature audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. Welcome, Deadites. Brand new rotation. It's time for What If Izuku Midoriya, or rather, Izuku Bakugo, had a quirk. We go forward several months to see Katsuki training with Izzy at his place. Katsuki was in the zone. He was feeling the energy, and he wasn't about to just let his uncle trounce him like usual. I say that, but Izzy does pull his punches to a point. This is to help Katsuki grow, not to beat the tar out of him for no reason. The only person he wants to do that to is whoever was pulling his daughter's strings, but that investigation was going nowhere, even with watchdog resources. As Izzy was in this moment of intense thought, Katsuki caught a chance to get in a few good strikes, ending in an explosion. However, he forgot a few things. Izzy had hit him quite a few times, and when he just wanted to think, he'd proc the detonation, knocking Katsuki out. Now, where was I on that train of thought? Rian chimed in. You were thinking about what possible enemies you could have in the field and why they'd use our daughter the way they did. Thank you, Reinforce. I love you. Yeah, you'd better. Izzy grabbed Katsuki in a ball of water and placed him on the couch. Mitsuki picked that exact moment to walk in on him. Speaking of which, she is visibly pregnant. Good morning, beautiful. Is anyone else up? Mitsuki smiles at Izzy and then sighs as a little at the state of her son. No, babe. Ochako was visiting her mother while Melissa was actually in the high-rise, working on some quality of life fixes with her father. I know it's a prison, but it's still far more comfortable than some of the lockups on Earth, especially now that everyone has to work together unless they want to die. While it is technically a prison colony, it is the world's first space colony, and that had a lot of weight to it. Various nations wanted their hands in this pot, but Deku Tech nipped that in the bud. After all, it wouldn't even be there if not for him anyway. So what are you up to anyway, Izzy? He just sighed, and that's all she needed to hear. Stop worrying about this so much. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. At this point, you just need to focus on the now and be here for your family. That's growing ever larger. Mitsuki places her hand on her stomach and gently caresses it, and then sits down and pats her legs as if summoning him. Izzy takes this cue, sits down next to her, and lays down on her lap, headwise. Katsuki picked an awkward moment to wake up and just feigned unconsciousness. He didn't want to ruin the moment that the two were having. The only thing he'd interrupt them for is if they got a little too intimate on that couch, if you catch my drift. At the moment, all that was happening was Izzy was lying down on Mitsuki's lap, and she was showing him love and affection via kisses and patting him on the head. Nana and the girls walked in eventually, and that was the perfect time for Katsuki to quote-unquote wake up. Inko ran right to her big brother, followed by Arya. She had embraced the fact that she was part of a rather big family that was gonna grow bigger in some time. Arya took rather well to Katsuki, to the point that she calls him Oni-sama, and he's rather kind when she's concerned. Arya got on the couch right next to Katsuki and gave him a big old hug. Good morning, brother. Well, technically, she's his cousin, but this simplifies things a lot. They have a common sister in Inko, so why make it any more complicated than it needed to be? Nana had the biggest smile on her face. Well, don't we have a lovely blended family? Let's hit the town today. Have a family outing. Family outing sounded nice, actually. Izzy took a look to the side to see Reinforce floating in air next to Bit and Defrag, having a similar moment. You know what, Nana? That sounds great. Too bad we're missing two. But let's have some fun. The girls jumped up and down in joy at getting to play, and Kotsky had a smirk on his face. He got up and made his way to the door. And where do you think you're going, son? You're a part of this family last I checked. And you stay here on the weekends, don't you? Kotsky sighed, but not in annoyance. I'm going to take a shower. I just woke up from a training session, so I probably smell awful. Both Nana and Mitsuki looked at Izzy at the mention of shower.
Izzy, beware. I detect hints of thirst from pregnant women. Yeah, I can tell just from looking at them. Thanks for the advance warning, though. I don't think they're in the danger zone of jumping me in the shower when the girls are here, though. Izzy, you're forgetting the fact that Inko and Arya are little girls. Little girls that haven't bathed yet. And they just ran after Kotsky. So, your soundproof bathroom is going to be put to the test against 3 women. Wait, 3? Rien, are you serious?
Reinforce made a digital note for Kotsky on the LED part of the smart mirror in the bathroom he went to. That read, "Take the girls to the pool and have some fun for a bit, please." It disappeared before the girls could read it, but Kotsky caught what Reinforce was throwing.
Unc, you are in for a serious battle.
The adults didn't spend too much time in the bath, but a normal man would be a husk after what Izzy just dealt with. Oddly enough, though, he was refreshed. Izzy has passive regenerative quirks going on, plus healing waters, which technically Reinforce was in charge of for a bit. She used it as a spa treatment of sorts in this instance. So, like I said, everyone came out of that refreshed and pool ready. The girls were happy to see their mommies and daddy, and they had some fun in the pool before they washed all signs of chilling in the saltwater pool and got dressed. They would normally walk, but there were, of course, 2 severely pregnant women who, quite frankly, wanted food in them, and they wanted it now. So Izzy had a car called, and our crew went to this ma and pa breakfast joint. Nana was eating Goku levels of food, and that was disheartening. Of course, Izzy could more than afford it. This joint was still in D-Tech City, so they were aware of what was to come. Mitsuki had the special, however. Scrambled eggs and a waffle served with breakfast gravy loaded hash browns. It normally comes with coffee, but you know full well that ain't happening for her. And sadly enough, there was no decaf, so nope. She was happy to have orange juice with the meal. Izzy was the only one that came anywhere near what Nana ate, and a thought came to him.
I wonder what plus ultra quirk this scamp's gonna have. Nana is a big eater, but nowhere near that level.
He was thinking about what quirk would cause such a high caloric. He knew what quirk Nana's child was gonna have. Nana noticed the smile on his face. What's going on in that head of yours, love? Izzy just smiled at that. Oh, you'll find out in a few years. That is assuming, of course, these kids aren't like him. Inko and Arya. Years! Izzy just thought about something that was weighing heavily on him. Nana's age.
Don't worry about that, Izzy. What you got up your sleeve, Rian? You'll find out after she gets back, Izzy.
He wisely chose to leave it at that. Reinforced can get rather scary when she's serious. They still, of course, had the car, and were dropped off at a park since they all wanted to, well, walk all of that off. And they also were able to enjoy the scenery. It was a rather calm looking park, and they could just see a rather odd looking boy talking to animals. They seemed to have a rough understanding of what he was saying. Izzy's interest was piqued, and he couldn't resist. Well, can't say I've ever seen a quirk like that one before. So you can talk to animals, huh? That's kinda cool. There's a lot of potential there. You should consider hero work. Izzy offered his hand for an honest handshake, but he also wanted that quirk in his cocktail.
And a voice. It allows you to speak with and command animals in a certain range. By the way, Sound Sonic ate it and leveled up as well. Nice.
Cody was rather timid, and the fact that there was a hulking beast of a tattooed covered man was being nice to him seemed odd, but he recognized him for some reason. Then it hit him. You're Izuku Bakugo. Aren't you like some super important person? Izzy was wondering why Koji led with that and not his hero identity. I mean, he did have a press conference revealing his identity after they took down Nox, but I guess Koji here hadn't seen it. Kid, who I am isn't that important. With a quirk like yours, you should master it. You can go places. Trust me on that one. Izzy handed him his business card for UA. I act as a talent scout of sorts, and trust me when I say that you've got potential. There are many different kinds of heroes out there, son. Just as he mentioned that, an earthquake happened. No, this wasn't natural. It seemed to be focusing on a certain area. Reinforced! Already on it, Izzy. With that, Omni and Spitfire were in action when their suits came for them. Bit called for Arya's board, Fortissimo, but Izzy denied her. Stay with Katsuki and help keep your mommy safe. I'm trusting you on this. Arya understood and gave Izzy absolutely no lip. She followed Katsuki's orders to the T when he'd give them. Koji, of course, saw the whole thing and now had a little more confidence in himself. Omni thought he had what it takes to be a hero, and that was a compliment right there. When Omni and Spitfire arrived on the scene to see two young teens, one of which was gripping his head hard. He seemed to be struggling and failing to control something. Defrag noticed something though. Hey Toots, that boy seems to be the epicenter. I think this is a case of Quirk gone wild. Of course, Izzy heard that as well, and Reinforced did a quick search to confirm that he is definitely a late bloomer. Hey you, sweetheart, is that your brother? Izzy asked the girl who seemed to be attempting to do something with her water control quirk. Yes, he is. He's my twin. My mom used to give him some medicine that I guess would make his quirk stop, but it always made him feel funny. Miss, do you know what company made this medicine? 3 guesses what company was responsible for making that medicine. When Nox went down, they burned every asset they could, and what remained of the corporation went dark. Izzy knew there would be consequences for taking them down, but there was no such drug that could do that, unless they were experimenting with the boy. Omni made his way to the boy, as did Spitfire. Stay away! I don't want to hurt you! You won't. Spitfire let out a continuous blast of sonic energy, and Omni followed suit. It was, of course, hurting the boy, but this was for the better, and they would convey that to his sister. Once he was knocked out, they froze a good chunk of his body. The sister actually helped with this, even though they didn't really need it. As the crew flies off to a hospital in the city, the girl says something under her breath. You saved us again. Izzy heard that and took a good look at the girl's face, and memories from 6 years ago came careening in his head. These two are the children he got caught saving. A smile as big as the one Nana likes to use as an example for others was on his face at that moment. The boy would be kept comatose for about a week to keep his quirk under control, while Izzy and Melissa, whom he had called and basically begged her to bring her sweet ass back down to help him make something that would save a kid no older than Katsuki a world of turmoil. Needless to say, she put her work on the high rise on pause and helped Izuku work on a suit that would aid the boy in controlling his quirk. Izzy would give the boy the name Richter, and there was a name that seemed to work for the girl as well, who was somewhat also a late bloomer. Hey, sweetheart, how would you like to be the new Hydroid? Her eyes lit up, and that's where we're leaving it. If you liked that, let's get a United States smash on that like button. If you're not subscribed, consider going full cowling with that subscribe button. And let's go plus ultra with the notifications. Ring that bell, baby. Rest easy, Deadites. And remember, the night is ours.